Secure the roofs! Move quickly! Find shelter!
Let's rewind right to the start. But first, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And drop your location in the comments, my lovely family. I want to see where everyone is watching from. Now grab your cold zobo, get some crunchy chin-chin, settle in, and enjoy. In the beautiful village of Umudike lived a young woman named Olaedo. Everyone in the village knew her for her beauty, grace, and kindness. Her skin was smooth and glowing, and her eyes sparkled like stars on a clear night. She was married to Kalu, a man who loved her deeply and completely. They had shared their lives together for 5 years. But there was one dark cloud hanging over Olaedo's otherwise happy life. She couldn't have children. In Umudike, being a mother was seen as a woman's greatest calling and a blessing from the gods. People believed that a woman's worth was measured by how many children she had. Unfortunately for Olaedo, this belief turned her life into endless heartbreak. Even though she and Kalu were deeply in love and spent all their time together, the villagers began to gossip behind their backs as time went on. The women of Umudike enjoyed mocking Olaedo the most. Every morning, they gathered by the riverbank, laughing and talking about anyone who walked past. "Look, there she goes," Ifeoma would sneer as Olaedo walked toward the river. Ifeoma had 6 healthy children, led the village women, and took huge pride in her big family. A woman so beautiful, yet she has no child to show for it. What a waste, Ifeoma would say. The other women would laugh meanly. Maybe the gods are punishing her, another woman named Ebra would add. What's the point of beauty if you can't even give birth? Even though Olaedo tried to stay strong on the outside, their words felt like heavy stones on her heart. She kept her head held high as she fetched her water, acting like she didn't hear their insults. But when she got back home, the emptiness completely overwhelmed her. She desperately wanted a baby, someone to love and hold, someone who would silence the cruel talk of the other women and bring peace to her heart. Kalu, ever the loving husband, tried to comfort her. "Don't listen to them, my love," he would say, pulling her close into his arms. "You are more than enough for me. Children will come when the gods say it's time." But the village women weren't the only ones hurting Olaedo. Kalu's mother, Mama Kalu, was a harsh and impatient woman. She expected great things for her son. And after 5 years of marriage with no grandchildren, her frustration grew worse every day. "How many years have you been in this house now?" Mama Kalu would ask with disgust. "Still no children, no grandchildren to warm my old bones. What kind of woman are you?" Olaedo would just bow her head in shame, unable to say a word. She had prayed and made sacrifices at every shrine, begging the gods for a child. But still, nothing happened. "If you can't bear my son's children," Mama Kalu continued, "maybe it's time for you to leave so he can marry someone who will." Olaedo's heart broke into pieces with every cruel word. She loved Kalu deeply, and the idea of leaving him was unbearable. But what could she do? She had tried everything. Her prayers, her sacrifices, yet her womb remained empty. One especially painful day, after a big fight with Mama Kalu, Olaedo ran away from the house. She couldn't take the pain, the shame, the whispers, and the constant pressure to give something she wanted so badly but couldn't control. Her feet ran away from the village and into the thick forest beyond. She didn't know where she was going, she just knew she had to get away. As the sun started to set and the shadows of the trees grew longer and darker, Olaedo ended up at the foot of a giant tree. This was the forbidden tree, a place the villagers were terrified of. Stories said that spirits and ancient gods lived deep inside it, and anyone who went too close would never come back. But Olaedo wasn't scared. Right then, she felt like she had nothing left to lose. She fell to her knees before the tree and burst into tears. "Oh great spirits of the tree! She cried out, her voice shaking. I come to you with a heavy heart. Please listen to my prayer. I have been mocked, shamed, and tortured because I can't have a child. If there's any mercy left in the world, please bless me with my own baby. I'm willing to do anything. For a long moment, everything was dead silent. The wind just rustled through the branches, and Olaedo feared no one had heard her cries. But just as she was about to get up and walk home in total heartbreak, a soft voice called out from the dark. Olaedo, the voice said, gentle yet firm. Olaedo looked up and saw an old woman standing right behind her. The woman wore simple white clothes, her hair was silver like the moonlight, and her eyes shone with ancient wisdom. There was something magical and unusual about her, as if she didn't belong to this world. Who are you? Olaedo asked, wiping away her tears. I am the servant of the tree, the old woman answered, her voice sounding like dry leaves rustling. Why are you crying so bitterly, my child? I'm crying because I can't have a baby, Olaedo explained. And without a child, I am nothing in my village. My mother-in-law hates me, and the women make fun of me. I would give anything to be blessed with a baby. The old woman looked at her knowingly. You talk about children as if they are the only thing that gives you value, but there is more to life than being a mother, Olaedo. Don't you see how beautiful and kind you are inside? Still, I feel your pain. The path ahead won't be easy, but if you're truly ready to do anything, I will show you a way. Olaedo's heart beat fast with hope. I will do anything, she said with all her heart. The old woman nodded and pointed toward a narrow path going deeper into the woods. Follow this path to the center of the tree. There, you will find a plant unlike any other. Its branches reach the sky, and its roots go deep into the earth. Pluck one leaf from its branches and bring it back to me. Without waiting a second, Olaedo stood up and took the path. The forest became darker and scarier, but with every step, she pushed forward, driven by the hope that her prayers might finally be answered. After what felt like hours, she reached a small open area lit up by the silver glow of the moon. In the middle of the clearing stood a massive tree covered in glowing leaves that sparkled like stars. Olaedo stood there amazed, staring at how beautiful the tree was. She carefully picked a single leaf from its branch and turned to head back to the old woman. As she did, a voice echoed across the open space. Be careful, Olaedo, the voice whispered, even though no one was around. The path you want comes with a price. Olaedo stopped, her heart pounding in her chest. What price? She called into the dark, but nobody answered. She quickly ran back to the old woman, who was waiting for her at the base of the tree. You did well, the old woman said, taking the leaf from Olaedo's hands. Now, listen to me very carefully. When you get back to your village, plant this leaf in your garden and take care of it every single day. It will not grow into a regular plant. It will show you the path to becoming a mother, but you must be patient. The journey ahead will test your heart. Olaedo thanked the old woman and rushed back home, her heart overflowing with hope. When she reached her hut, she did exactly what she was told. She planted the leaf in her garden and watered it every day. Weeks went by, and to her complete surprise, a small sprout popped out of the dirt. But it didn't grow like normal plants. Instead, it twisted and bent into strange, otherworldly shapes. As the plant grew, Olaedo's dreams became clearer and more real. She kept dreaming of a little boy with eyes as bright as the sun. He would call out to her, reaching up with his tiny hands, but every time she tried to hold him, he would disappear into thin air. The villagers noticed the strange plant in Olaedo's garden and started gossiping even more. What is she up to now? Maybe she's turned into a witch just to get a baby. Even Mama Kalu got suspicious. What on earth is this thing growing in your garden? She demanded one day. You're going to bring a curse on this house. But Olaedo ignored all of them. Deep down, she knew this plant held the key to her ultimate dream. She kept tending to it, even as the rumors and mean talk got louder. Then one day, when the plant had grown tall and strong, something amazing happened. While Olaedo was taking care of it, the plant began to glow with a soft golden light. Right from its branches, a single fruit appeared, shaped like a tiny golden gourd. It glistened in the sunlight, and Olaedo knew this was the exact moment she had been waiting for. She carefully plucked the fruit and took it inside her home. That night, in her dreams, the old woman appeared once again, standing in a moonlit clearing. Her expression was calm, yet serious. "Olaedo," the old woman said softly, "you have done very well to follow the path with patience. Now, the fruit you picked is no ordinary fruit. It holds the essence of life. But be warned, the gift of a child, like all gifts from the spirits, comes with conditions." Olaedo's heart started racing. "What conditions, wise one?" The old woman stepped closer, her voice quiet but firm. "You must eat the fruit if you want to have a baby. But understand this, your child will not be like other children. He will be a blessing, yes, but his destiny will be tied to the spirits. You must raise him with great care, because he won't belong to this world alone." "What do you mean by that?" Olaedo asked, feeling confused and anxious. "In time, you will understand. But know this, Olaedo, the love and protection you give him will shape his path. If you are ready to take on this responsibility, then eat the fruit at sunrise." With those words, the old woman disappeared. Olaedo woke up with her heart pounding in her chest. The golden fruit was sitting on her table, glowing faintly in the morning sunlight. She hesitated, thinking back to what the old woman had said. What did it mean for her child to be tied to the spirits? Would it bring danger? Was she truly ready for such a heavy responsibility? But then she thought about all the years of insults, the heartbreak, and how desperately she wanted a baby. She hadn't come this far to turn back now. At dawn, Olaedo picked up the fruit, said a quick prayer to the gods, and ate it. It tasted unlike anything she had ever eaten before, sweet, yet strange. As soon as she swallowed it, a warm feeling spread through her entire body. It felt as if the sun itself had taken root inside her. Right then, she knew something had changed. Days turned into weeks, and soon enough, Olaedo realized she was pregnant. Her joy knew no bounds. She rushed to break the news to Kalu, who was absolutely thrilled. Even Mama Kalu, who had been so mean before, softened up when she heard the news. The villagers were completely shocked. The woman they had made fun of for years was finally carrying a child. The whispers changed from insults to pure curiosity. How did it happen? They asked each other. What magic did she use? But Olaedo kept the secret of the old woman and the golden fruit entirely to herself. As her belly grew bigger, so did her dreams. Every single night, she dreamed of her baby boy. Always the same child with bright eyes, laughing and reaching out to her. But in some of those dreams, dark shadows hung around him, and the old woman's words echoed in her mind, "He will not belong to this world alone." Months passed, and the day finally arrived for her to give birth. It was a long and difficult labor, but in the end, Olaedo gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. He was perfect, with skin as smooth as hers and eyes that shone with pure joy. They named him Chikaima. From the very moment he was born, it was obvious that Chikaima was no ordinary child. As a baby, he hardly ever cried. Instead, he would look around the room with wide, curious eyes, as if he could see things no one else could. And as he grew, strange things started happening around him. One day, when Chikaima was just a few months old, Olaedo was carrying him through the village when a powerful wind began to blow. The villagers rushed around trying to secure their huts, but tiny Chikaima just giggled and reached out his hands, and just like that, the wind completely stopped. The villagers were stunned. They started whispering among themselves that the child had powers and was blessed by the spirits. As Chikaima grew into a toddler, even more unusual things happened. Flowers bloomed wherever he crawled. Animals, even the wild ones, seemed drawn to him, as if they recognized something special in him that humans couldn't see. At first, Olaedo was filled with joy over her son's special gifts. It was everything she had prayed for and so much more. But as time went on, she started to worry. The old woman's warning weighed heavily on her mind. What did it really mean for Chikaima to be tied to the spirits? Was his future truly in her hands, or was something much bigger at play? One evening, when Chikaima was about 5 years old, Olaedo took him back to the exact same spot at the foot of the tree where she had first met the old woman. She needed answers. Standing there, Olaedo called out to the spirit. "Great spirit of the tree, I have come back once again. I beg you, please tell me what lies ahead for my son. What is the true meaning of his gift?" For a long time, there was only silence. Olaedo's heart started to sink. But then, just like before, the old woman stepped out from the shadows, looking as if she had been waiting there the whole time. "Olaedo," the old woman said, her eyes filled with warmth. "You have done a wonderful job raising your son. His gifts are a blessing, but they also come with great responsibility. He was born from the tree's magic, and the spirits watch over him. But as he grows up, he will have to choose his own path." "Choose?" Olaedo asked, feeling confused. "What choice does he have to make?" The old woman smiled gently. "There will come a time when Chikaima will be called to serve the spirits, to live among them and use his powers for the good of the world. But the choice will be his. You cannot make it for him." Olaedo's heart sank. The mere thought of losing her son was unbearable. "Will he have to leave me?" The old woman placed a soft hand on Olaedo's shoulder. "Perhaps. But remember, Olaedo, he does not belong to you alone. The world needs him just as much as you do. You must stay strong and trust that whatever path he chooses, it will be the right one." With that, the old woman vanished once more, leaving Olaedo at the foot of the tree with a heart heavy with both pride and sadness. As the years went by, Chikaima kept growing, and his gifts became even stronger. He could heal the sick just by touching them, calm down storms, and talk to the forest animals. The villagers grew to deeply respect him. They didn't talk behind Olaedo's back anymore. Instead, they bowed in awe whenever Chikaima walked past. Still, Olaedo couldn't forget the old woman's warning. She knew the day would eventually come when her son would have to pick his path. When Chikaima turned 18, that day finally arrived. One morning, while Olaedo was making breakfast, Chikaima walked up to her with a serious look on his face. "Mother," he said quietly, "it's time." Olaedo's heart broke into pieces, but she nodded, knowing this moment was always going to come. "Do you know where you're going?" she asked, her voice shaking. Chikaima smiled gently. "The spirits have been calling me in my dreams. I have to go to the foot of the great tree. But don't worry, Mother, I will always be with you, even when I'm not here." With tears streaming down her face, Olaedo hugged her son tight. She had raised him with so much love and care, and she couldn't stand in the way of his destiny. That evening, as the sun set behind the massive tree, Chikaima walked away from the village. Olaedo watched him go, her heart filled with both deep pride and sorrow. She knew he was destined for things far greater than she could ever imagine, but she also knew the love between them would never fade. From that day on, the villagers kept telling the story of Olaedo and her son. The child of the great tree who was born out of magic and unconditional love. And Olaedo, even though she missed her son terribly, found real peace knowing she had played her part in something much bigger than herself. Her story lived on just like the ancient tree, a tale of hope, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed today's story, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video, my lovely family.